is Lish from Devalishangell, and I'm so excited to finally be doing this sewing my Pinterest board video. I've been wanting to do it for so long, so here it is. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys 5 different projects that I made, and then I'm just going to do like a quick overview about making it, the process. I'm going to give you any resources that I feel like were helpful in making it, such as like the pattern, where I got the materials, and just things that I learned from making it. I feel like most of these projects turned out pretty successful. Some of them I absolutely love. Some of them I'm like, I could kind of fix a little bit. But yeah, let's get into it. So the first item that I'm going to show you how I made is this maxi skirt. I had already owned a similar one, so I kind of used this as reference for the pattern. This is the fabric that I use. It is a cotton gauze from Mood Fabrics. I wanted to make my own pattern for this one because a lot of the other patterns I saw online, the bottom of the skirt was just like super wide, and I didn't want it to be like that. This is the pattern that I came up with at the end, and I'm gonna try to explain this the best that I can, but pretty much I just took my measurements that I ended up with, and then kind of, it's a good thing I'm good at math, but I made like an equation. I needed 2 pieces of each, one for the front, one for the back. So you can plug in your waist, times it by whatever number, and then divide it by 2. For the length, I just measured out how long I wanted the skirt to be, divided it by 4, and then I added seam allowance. Once I cut out my rectangles, pretty much what I'm doing is ruching the top of each rectangle until it's the size of the rectangle above it, and then attaching it. I ended up with 2 pieces, the front and the back, and then I just sew these together, and then I added the waistband at the end. I've been trying to challenge myself to use non-stretch fabric, which is what I used in a couple of these projects. What I learned from using this cotton gauze fabric, because I had never used it before, is that you need to add like more seam allowance because the fabric just like will rip easily. So I would recommend doing like a serge. If you don't have a serge, you're doing like some type of equivalent like overlock stitch, and then adding like a straight stitch above it so that it's like double sewed, because just having a seam on the edge, like the fabric was just kind of like making holes and stuff. So that's why in a lot of my projects I only use a 1/4 inch, but for this fabric I'm like, yeah, I need like a 1/2 inch at least for seam allowance. So after I had that front and the back panel done, I put them together and sewed the sides, and then I took the waistband and like folded it in half and added it around the top, which you can kind of see in the video. I do kind of wish I added like more seam allowance to the waistband part because it was kind of ripping, but I ended up just serging it twice, and I feel like it's good. I don't think it's gonna rip at all. It feels pretty sturdy. But when I added the fabric, I left like a hole so I could feed the waistband through. Yeah, this is what it looks like now. Very cute. I did make mine a little short, so I ended up adding a ruffle, and I love how it turned out. Here's the next inspo that I'm working on, this sundress with a very cute back. I can't lie, I did that. I am going to go through this one kind of quick because I do have another tutorial that's more in-depth about this dress, and I did also make this pattern as well. It's on my website. I think it's only like $5. Also, I promise I'm not here to like just sell my patterns. I really do just want to show you guys what I made and what I learned in the process of making my Pinterest board. I got this fabric from Joann Fabrics when they were going out of business, RIP, but I got a whole boat for like, it was maybe like $3-4, which is crazy, and this fabric is so soft and so comfy. I do obviously, like I said, have the pattern for this, but when I was making the pattern, I started by tracing a dress that I already had that was kind of similar to what I was going for, and then I just kept trying it on and like putting it against my body, making marks and adjustments as I made it. So it was literally like sew something, try it on, adjust it. When I did the back part, the crucial thing to making that opening was just making sure that I wasn't gonna make it too low and like have my butt crack show. But to be honest, it was pretty easy to just like kind of trace it out and then just use like a tape measure to just make sure that both sides are even, so that way on the back it's not like the opening's not like to the side or anything. I wanted to make the top of the dress seamless, so I added kind of like a bralette thingy, so that way I could have these seams be seamless. If you watch my other tutorials, you know me and this elastic go together real bad, so I used it for here and also that opening, so that way it fit nice and snug to my back. From making the previous skirt, I learned I need to make this dress long because I am 5'7", 6'7". But yeah, after putting the front piece and the back piece together, it's pretty much just a matter of getting the bralette part in, making the back all nice and cute. I added the straps here, and then I added the strap channels in the back and just fed the straps through. Then you just hem the bottom. Having the back the way it is really gives you like a snatch look because you can make it tight, so it really like cinches in the waist and just gives that like that sundress illusion, you know. One thing I would improve on it is I think it needs some type of slit in the back, or just that very bottom of the dress, like when it starts to curve out after my hips, like below my hips, make it a bit wider because it is a little hard to walk in. You're kind of walking like versus like, you know, a regular walk. So yeah, I would make it a bit wider at the bottom or add a slit just to make it a little easier. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I'll take 14. For the next dress, I wanted to make the one in this corner. The closest pattern I found to it was the Valentina V Dress by Mood Fabrics. This was my first time doing a pattern from Mood, but I like how on their website they have a step-by-step pictures on how to make it, along with like links to all the materials and fabric that you will need to complete this dress, and the pattern was free. The pattern, it was relatively easy to put together, but trying to cut it out, it was kind of hard to see the lines because there's so many sizes on one pattern. So I just took a marker to mark my size so it was easier to cut out. So I just started by doing the top like corset piece first, and then I added the skirt after, and then the zipper to make it complete. I did make some alterations to this dress though, which I'll kind of show you more a little later in this video, but I pretty much made the straps thinner. I made like the V part of the corset higher because I don't know, it was kind of for like a really long torso, so I made it shorter. And then I wanted like a mini dress, so instead of having a maxi dress, I just cut it short. Adding the underwire here was actually pretty easy, along with adding the padding. However, I don't know why, but adding the two straps, like connecting the two straps together was a bit difficult. But this is kind of what it was like when I was doing it. And here, this is what I was talking about when I shortened the V part. So it was really long. I shortened it a bit by folding it in half so I could cut it symmetrically. I do wish that I would have cut this just a bit more short, but it was okay. This right here is the pattern for the maxi dress, but since I want it short, I just didn't use the whole bottom of the pattern. This dress did have a ton of ruching for the skirt part, so definitely when you're doing the ruching lines, make two just to make your life easier in case one of the seams pops. Shout out to Mood Fabrics though for having so many free patterns on their website, along with the tutorials and all the links, because they definitely make it so easy. And after doing this one, I definitely want to check out more of their patterns. So after sewing the dress, it was time to add the zipper. Dun, dun, dun. It was hard, but I found a really good tutorial that explained it really well on how to add an invisible zipper, because I try to avoid zippers at all costs, but I'm like, you know what, I need to just learn this skill and master it. So I found a good tutorial. I'm gonna link it below, and the key really was to get the right zipper foot, which I also will link below, and to iron out the zipper, so that way it's nice and flat and it's so much easier to sew when the zipper is ironed open. Okay, I know this dress is about to look so ugly in this clip, but I made it shorter and it ended up being cute. It's definitely way different than my normal style, but I think I will definitely find an event to wear this to, and it is cute. I am proud of it. Here is the final look. Again, not my style, but I actually do love how it turned out. For this next dress, I wanted something that was bodycon, and I wanted this style top so I could wear it for the summer, just something easy to put on for the beach. I got both of the knit fabrics that I'm going to show in these clips from Joann Fabrics, again when they were going out of business. I did also make this pattern. It's on my website. All my patterns right now are $5 or less, and I feel like this is a pretty beginner friendly pattern. With the knit fabric, you just want to make sure that the most stretch is going horizontal on the body and not vertically. I put little like openings where I put the padding, that way I could take it in and out if I wanted to. And I also ruched that part. I just felt like it looked more flattering ruched. So I'm just gonna add some clips here of me putting the dress together so you can kind of see what the pieces look like and what the process looked like. But again, it was pretty easy, and I do have that tutorial in the description along with the pattern. One thing that I did learn from this dress was I was kind of having the same issue with walking. Like the steps were kind of like this. I could tell the seam was gonna pop if I took too big of a step. So what I did at the bottom was I serged a piece of that clear elastic and I stretched it as I sewed it, so that way when I walk it's already like stretched, so the seam isn't gonna pop when I walk, and it was just a lot more comfortable doing that. This blue fabric ended up being a bit see-through, so I would kind of do a see-through test before you do a bodycon dress with the knit fabric, especially if it's a lighter color. It's probably going to be more see-through. But yeah, so the second floral fabric that I'm showing, that one was perfect and I have no issue with that being see-through, but the blue one was a bit see-through. The final item on my Pinterest board that I made was this denim bag. And the screenshot, it's the exact video that I watched to learn how to make this bag, and I'm also gonna put the link to it in my description. And then I'm gonna show you guys 3 other pages that I love to watch when it comes to bags, specifically denim bags. I feel like they do a good job at providing great tutorials, patterns, or will show you how to make the pattern, and they're all like actually cute. I'm gonna show you guys a bit of the process of making this bag. It's alright. It's a little lopsided, but I do know where I went wrong. So in the video she uses I think A4 paper, and I didn't have A4 paper. I only have letter paper. So when I was like cutting it, it's like the measurements were off from what she was using, so like this part, and then I tried to like do my own thing and I wanted it to be smaller, so I was trying to like edit the pattern as well and stuff like that. But with denim, like especially non-stretch, the sizing has to be exact. This part, it was too long. And then also another mistake I made was in the video, in the tutorial, they had used like I think a leather bias to put here, and then I used denim, and this denim is really thick, and I have folded it, so it was literally like right here and stuff is so much denim and it's so thick. It was hard to sew. This was the first project I had made using my Juki machine. Even my Juki was like, girl, like I don't want to do this, like please help me. So yeah, it's alright. Like to the average person this probably looks okay, but I mean to the real sewing girlies, I just feel like it's lopsided and I like it. I don't love it, but I do have to redeem myself and show you guys 2 other bags that I made that I actually do love, just so you know that I am credible. But this one I actually made this like I was just winging this when I made it, and I absolutely love this. This is like my go-to bag for the pool or the beach. It's pretty easy as well. I do want to make a tutorial on this because I absolutely love this bag. And then I'm gonna put the link below to this denim bucket bag. It looks a little funky only because it's folded up, but yeah, I love this bag too so much. You can fit so much in here, and this was by one of the other YouTube people I showed you. But yeah, I'll put the link to this tutorial in the description. I'm not gonna show the step-by-step process only because there's already a tutorial for this bag, but I do want to show you some of the process. So this is the lining that I used. I just had it extra from another project that I worked on, and then I used interfacing. It was it wasn't like super thick, but it was just enough to stabilize the fabric. And then I don't know exactly what this is called, like maybe quilting or something, where you kind of make the lines. I always use a washable marker for all my projects, but you just make the lines and then sew. And I recommend, like, in the video it will show you, but you kind of make it bigger than what you need because the layers are gonna slide a bit. So then you do the lines first and then you cut your pattern out of like say you make a piece this big and then you do it and then you cut your pattern out, so that way the edges are all nice and clean, if that makes sense. But yeah, this using denim, like having too many layers is just tough to do. If you're doing if you're sewing on a regular sewing machine and you have fabric that's super thick, I recommend like manually turning the thingy that makes the needle go for the thick parts, so you don't break your machine. So for this project, I'm just gonna let these clips play out so you guys can kind of see some of the process, just in case you do want to try this project for yourself. Overall, I really do love all these projects and I'm happy that I made it. Hope you guys liked this video. For my next one, I was thinking about doing a sewing my Pinterest board like denim edition, because if you know me, I do love working with denim. That's how I got my start into sewing. So let me know what you would like to see, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.